Hello, this is Dr. Eric Bricker, and thank you for watching A Healthcare Z. Today's topic is Humira, the most financially successful drug ever. Now, I just want to congratulate Humira and AbbVie because they basically knocked it out of the park. So Humira is so incredibly financially successful that over the course of its entire existence, Humira has made over $200 billion in revenue. It expired in 2016. Why in the world has it still been on patent since 2016? Because AbbVie, the makers of Humira, filed an additional 132 patents to create a patent thicket around Humira that extended the patent through the beginning of 2023. This is now January 2023. And just now in 2023, finally will there be biosimilars, alternatives to Humira that can be available. Now, how in the world was AbbVie able to create 132 patents around Humira? Guess what? They were challenged in court, and the 7th Circuit Court upheld what AbbVie was doing. Guess what? They said U.S. patent law has no laws against filing 132 patents for a medication and extending its patent life. That's a full 7 years more that AbbVie got out of Humira. Guess what? Every single other drug maker in America is going to do this exact same thing. Okay, so how in the world did AbbVie make $200 billion off of Humira? Believe it or not, when the original Humira syringe came out, it was $522 per syringe in 2003. Subsequently, AbbVie engaged in 30 price hikes since 2003, to the point now it is $2,984 per syringe. It costs about $78,000 per patient per year to treat them with Humira. It's a shot that patients give themselves about every 2 weeks for rheumatoid arthritis. It's also used for psoriatic arthritis. It's used for Crohn's disease. It's used for ulcerative colitis. So it's used for a variety of autoimmune diseases. Okay, great. It's super expensive. There's the playbook, okay? The playbook is get a patent, file gobs and gobs of more patents, extend the patent life as much as humanly possible, and increase the price over and over and over again. And guess what? To AbbVie's credit, hugely successful. That playbook is hugely successful. Okay, now, how successful was it for AbbVie? AbbVie has a market capitalization. In other words, the value of AbbVie as a company is $270 billion. It is the 23rd largest company on the US stock market. It's like $80 billion bigger than Walt Disney. So like, what percentage of Americans have even heard of AbbVie? Like, no one's heard of AbbVie. And it's significantly larger than Walt Disney. Okay, 36% of AbbVie's revenue comes from Humira. So if you said, okay, well, if you said 36% of AbbVie's market capitalization was specifically from Humira, then if you take the 0.36 times the 270 billion, that means that the market capitalization because of Humira is about $97 billion. In other words, if Humira was its own publicly traded company on its own, it would be worth about $97 billion. Okay, let's put that into context. The largest publicly traded hospital in America, HCA, is only worth $72 billion. HCA did 35 million visits last year, and it's not even close to the value of Humira. Okay, let's compare it to what other organizations in America create value. I would argue grocery stores create value. Okay, Kroger is only worth $33 billion. Okay, Humira alone is worth 3 Krogers. And Kroger delivers groceries, or has groceries for 11 million people a day. So, in regards to, now, listen, Humira is used to treat 312,000 people in America. There's only 312,000 people in America that take Humira. Now, does Humira provide value to those people? Absolutely. I'm not saying it doesn't. It provides absolute value to those people. The point is that AbbVie absolutely, perfectly executed value extraction for those 312,000 people. AbbVie extracted tremendous amounts of value from those folks. It extracted so much value that the company's worth more than Disney, and Humira alone is worth more than the largest hospital system in America, and it's worth more than a grocery store that serves 11 million people a day. So I'm not here to say whether AbbVie has extracted too much value, but I'm here to say that versus a hospital system that treats 35 million people and a grocery store that provides services to 11 million people a day, AbbVie extracted gobs more value than they did. So AbbVie is a value extraction machine. Okay, now, so fine. So there's alternatives now. Fantastic. Okay, Express Scripts, Optum, and Prime Therapeutics are the 3 PBMs that are going to offer the biologic alternatives to Humira starting the end of January 2023, but really the estimates are that it's not going to be, there's like 6 or 7 other biologic alternatives that are also going to come out over the course of 2023. And the thought is that it's really not going to kick into the summer until about July, when you're going to start seeing at least some degree of more alternatives coming into the market and more people potentially moving over from Humira to these biologics. Okay, but I wouldn't take solace in that. I think what we do here, what we learn from this Humira experience, is that the PBM as a pharmacy cost control mechanism is completely ineffective. Now, one reason is they're ineffective is because they're financially misaligned, because all these PBMs, so look, I mean, CVS hasn't even agreed to have a biologic alternative. Like, as of now, CVS, we don't know what CVS is going to do. They haven't said anything. Okay, but the PBM is just a completely ineffective tool for controlling specialty pharmacy costs, right? So fine, Humira, $200 billion. Okay, it's a lot of money, you get the point, right? There are 100 other monoclonal antibodies that have been approved by the FDA. The FDA just approved its 100th monoclonal antibody. That's what Humira is. Okay, this playbook is going to be copied, has been copied, will be copied by every other pharmaceutical company in the world because it's so successful here in America. Well, I mean, who can argue against that? And the AbbVie won, the PBMs lost. The PBMs didn't lose because they made a gobs of money off of it too. The employers in America lost, and the government and the taxpayers in America lost. Because ultimately it's the employers and the taxpayers that paid that $200 billion and are going to be paying for this other $100 billion in monoclonal antibodies. Okay, so fine. So let's just do a little thought experiment here. If it took $200 billion to treat the equivalent of 312,000 people a year who have a variety of autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and Crohn's disease, keep in mind, there are 25 million people in America that have autoimmune diseases. Now, monoclonal antibodies don't just treat autoimmune diseases, they also treat cancer as well. So we're not even talking about the people that are going to be treated for their cancer with monoclonal antibodies. But if you take the 25 million people and let's say, okay, over time, they create monoclonal antibodies to treat every single one of these 25 million people that have autoimmune diseases. Okay, if these pharmaceutical companies are able to extract wealth as well as AbbVie did, it will cost $32 trillion. Now, we just throw the T around these days like it's nothing. What's $32 trillion? You could pay for every single person's college education in America for the next 48 years. You could pay the Defense Department budget for 32 years. So the point is that we as a society only have so many resources. And here we have a system in place that allows for those resources to be incredibly efficiently extracted. And this money could be spent on other things. It could be spent on defense. Are we going to be as safe? It could be spent on education. Are we going to be as smart? Maybe not, because we're too busy spending money on monoclonal antibodies. Okay? So, listen, I'm not here to just pontificate. What are some real solutions? Okay, the PBM does not work. Okay? Forget about it. Don't even try. The PBM does not work to control your pharmacy spend for Humira, for monoclonal antibodies. It doesn't work. It's like putting in a nail with a screwdriver. It's a completely ineffective tool. So, what are some alternative solutions? One, Travel. The state of Utah sends its plan members to Mexico. They pay them to go to Mexico to get their Humira in Mexico. Maybe we need to dramatically expand travel programs to foreign countries so that people can get their medications there. 2, employers need to have their own specialists. Okay, listen, this didn't have to happen with Humira. The American College of Rheumatology actually says that methotrexate is first-line therapy. Did every single rheumatologist try methotrexate as first-line therapy, have the methotrexate fail, and then put them on Humira? No. Rheumatologists, by their own admission, say that they overprescribed Humira rather than methotrexate. So you're going to have to, you as an employer are going to have to have your own rheumatologist get on planes and fly around to your plan members to at least have some degree of financial stewardship. Now, listen, do you try the methotrexate, it doesn't work, and then you put them on the monoclonal antibody? Sure. But the point is it's not just for rheumatologists, it's gastroenterologists, it's other specialists, it might be oncologists as well. It will be cheaper for you to put specialists on a plane and fly them to your plan members that have these diseases that are treated with monoclonal antibodies than your current arrangement. Because, are there no alternatives to these monoclonal antibodies? No! A lot of times there absolutely are alternatives to the monoclonal antibodies. And so the point is that you need to have physicians who are financially aligned with your plan and with the patient's best interest to actually not spend $32 trillion. Okay, next up. Maybe the government just needs to pay for this. Maybe we just need to because listen, there are lawyers that specialize in disability. Maybe everybody that needs to take a monoclonal antibody, be like, look, you're disabled. If you need to take a monoclonal antibody, you're just disabled, you need to be put on disability, and then you need to go on Medicare. Now there's a waiting period of 24 months, so you gotta foot the bill for 2 years. But maybe groups of employers, maybe these business coalitions could group together so that all the employees in an area could be paid, their legal services could be paid for so that they could be put on disability. And if they left their job and went somewhere else, at least the 24 months was ticking. And you just put them on Medicare because there's no way that the employers in America can afford $32 trillion. Okay, lastly, legal advocacy. So you better believe that the pharmaceutical company and the American Medical Association and American Hospital Association and American Health Insurance Plans are incredibly astute at their lobbying efforts. And I would argue employers in America are just getting beaten hand over fist in their lobbying. And so here you got to fight fire with fire. And I would argue that the employers in America need to dramatically up their game in the lobbying department because you're just getting schooled. So that's my point for today. Humira, huge success. It's just going to happen again. I wanted to make you aware, America. And thank you for watching A Healthcare Z.